newspaper environment in the world.
Do you think journalists and photographers are too intrusive now?
Depends on the story. I mean, I think in some cases they are, and we've set up a new code of conduct now.
But I mean, like people's holidays, do you think that's right to be sneaking pictures of people on the beach and things like that?
No, I don't. I think if people want to have a holiday, they should have a holiday.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, if they are on holiday and receiving 3 kilos of cocaine on the beach, then I think we'd want to cover that, particularly if they've just made a speech in the House of Commons against drugs.
Now, Andrew, I just happened to have a little camera with me. I wondered if you'd mind if I snapped away while you carried on talking to Pauline.
You carry on.
I love it if you said no, that'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
No, you wouldn't say no, would it? It's just a small lens.
That's a big camera. Carry on talking. I was telling you about your dress code.
Oh, that's right. I've got...
Denim shirts won't do. Journalists are scruffy enough as it is.
So
yeah, I mean, if you're going to cover a riot, that would probably be all right.
You're dressed for a riot.
If you've got to go
There'll be one in a minute.
Hi, Martin Spencer. Okay, Pauline, today we're going to try and do a bit of a fashion package. This afternoon we've got an alternative fashion show down at Spitalfields, which might yield something which is quite good fun. There's also a report which is coming out tomorrow, which says women buy all their men's underwear, men are a bit slovenly when it comes to underwear and so on. There's a good opportunity to go out, have a little chat with people, get some funny stories, and hopefully make quite a nice wee colour piece to go alongside the Fashion Week thing.
Right, I'm going to ask you some questions, and it's about men's underwear. Right. Right, do you buy men's underwear? Not for yourself, no.
No. You don't go for the fashion.
No, when you're 5, 6, you don't have to. You're going to look at them.
And just tell me how long you've been married?
35 years.
35 years. Cool, you bought some underpants.
And is he a traditionalist, or do you try and jazz him up a little bit, or do you...
The only time I did that, it was an absolute failure.
Oh, and he also likes the ones with the thin...
Oh, those!
Well, no, really.
Oh, have you got any pictures on you?
No.
Oh, lovely.
Well, you feel very sexy wearing them.
And they're comfortable.
They're very, very comfortable. People do want to grab them though.
Yeah, people do have a tendency, if you've got one of the cone bars on, to come up and have a squeeze.
Yes, I won't try it. I'll take one. When you're wearing outfits like this, where wouldn't you get hassled? Obviously not Sainsbury's or somewhere, but where would you be able to
I'd go shopping at Sainsbury's.
You wear it at Sainsbury's?
I'd have to use all my imagination to excite Eamon with this story. Sean and I had been sent to cover a bridge tournament between the House of Commons and the House of Lords.
I feel very intrusive. I don't feel like they're very happy for us to be here, really. Sean doesn't seem that bothered by it, but I just feel a little bit, you know, like I'm spying on people.
Unlike Fingers Mullin, Speed was still not my middle name. I'd have to get a move on. This time next week, Linda and I would have to deliver a story on our own. But at least I was getting more down onto the computer. I asked shoppers outside their Oxford Street branch who really wears or buys the pants. I'm just so busy kind of listening to them or asking them that I've not really got exact quotes. There's quite a bit I can remember, but it's so scribbly. I've done it in a kind of my shorthand, and I can't understand it.
I like that. I think that's a good, strong picture. That would illustrate this article very, very well.
That would be useful.
Oh, yeah, very useful, yeah. Yeah, it shows that we're in the middle of it. I like that. You got in there and you made an angle that was interesting. You're looking slightly up at it. It's a good picture. I like that.
I'm going to take some of the stuff from yours over into what I've don, and we'll make it a joint byline.
I think you're being very generous, John. There's one sentence out of mine.
No, not at all, not at all. So we'll make it a joint piece and we'll send it through to the old desk now.
I'm worried that you may have a down day. You know, you may go out one day and get nothing, and you know, you come back in tears and whatever. I mean, I feel for you on that because that's the nature of it. Nobody has nobody gets every day right, and things don't happen in front of the camera on every day. And, you get
and you'll
understand
lens, that, won't you, Eamon?
Well, no, I won't. No, I'll be very cautious.
No prizes for guessing who owns these famous eyebrows. They can often be seen bristling over a viewfinder. Dennis Healy has been a keen photographer since he was 8 years old.
Once I started taking portraits with lights, you know, but I see no point in it. I'd rather take a picture of someone trying to look natural, and if they don't look natural, I shout at them, "Look natural!" which is a very good way of persuading people to look unnatural.
There's a picture in your book of you, in fact, trying to get a piece of grit out of your eye, but the words that went with the picture when it was used was the fact that you were tired or exhausted.
That's right.
Does it make you cross when photographers have taken a picture and then changed it around?
No, because I'm used to it. You see, you get used to that, especially in politics, and you notice that a party conference, you'll have a row of photographers watching everybody on the platform and snapping maybe 200 in a morning in the hope that they'll get one picture they can use in a totally different context, you know.
Like them blinking or...
Yes, blinking or delighted at the failure of the leader, you know, or whatever it is if they're laughing. But the first thing you learn if you take photographs is that the camera can lie.
Do you mind if I took some pictures of you? Some nice natural pictures of you,
Dennis? Yeah, but if I said yes, it would do me no bloody good at all, would it? So you might as well.
You keep him relaxed, you keep talking, I'll do the pictures.
What's the most irritating question you think you get asked by journalists?
I don't much mind the questions they ask, because the secret of a successful politician or show business person is that if they don't ask the right question, you give the right answer anyway.
You turn it round to what you want to talk
yes.
about.
No, you should never let them get away with not asking you something you want to answer.
I think they've completely forgotten about me. So Pauline's doing her job.
3 days to our assignment and the day before the boat race. Cambridge was working out on the Thames and I was working out with Harriet Logan of the Sunday Express.
We're expecting a lot of press to be here today as well.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a lot of elbowing.
We're doing a bit of rocking, definitely.
Yeah. But hold the camera from under, hold the lens from underneath, yeah.
So you got more balance.
More balance with it, right?
Yeah.
I used Harriet's lens, the 300 lens, so I've got some quite nice close shots, so you can see their faces and the pain in their faces.
Yeah.
Also, the captain's quite hunky. A few shots of him.
Fun, we're really a bit wet though, aren't we?
A bit. I can't believe when she said at the end, the man said, "We'll bring it in and let the ladies get off at the side." She went, "We're no ladies. Get off the front of the boat."
I'm very impressed that you shot this on a long lens and it has got some action. What I'm amazed about is you've actually managed to get out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've actually managed to get about 6 of them with their eyes closed.
Well, it's hard work, isn't it?
It is, but it's an interesting picture. They've all got their eyes closed. It is a novelty factor.
Birmingham, and I was shadowing John for the last time. The next day, Linda and I would be out on our own.
There are still several thousand houses in Birmingham with outside toilets. So what we're going to do is try and get as much colour and human interest stories as possible. You have problems because you don't have shorthand. It's very difficult. You're concentrating and trying to scribble away instead of listening to what the people are telling you and thinking what you're going to ask them. But if you use a tape recorder, you should be able to let the conversation flow much better.
That's it, it's working. All right. So, Janet, how long have you been living here?
I should say about 20 years.
20 years. Bathroom? Have you any bathroom?
No, no bathroom.
And no
at all.
bathroom. How do you manage without an inside toilet?
Luckily Dad's down the road, so we have baths down there.
Right, so Dad's got a bathroom down there. Right.
But other than that, it's just the kitchen.
And wash by the sink?
Yeah, yeah. It's just a way of life, really. You just carry on from day to day, hoping that the next year you'll be out and you're not.
Right. So when you move to your new house, how are you going to decorate that bathroom?
Well, I think we'll have candelabras everywhere.
Candelabras in the bathroom, yeah?
Joke.
You're keeping the conversation going along nicely. You get some nice stuff out of the line about the candelabra in the bathroom. The things about, you know, it's just a way of life, or her acceptance of it all over sort of 20 years of living there. You sort of got that very well.
I'm very worried that I'm not going to be able to do the story in time, really, because I'll just spend so long, you know, trying to get the bones of it, that the time will be gone.
You shouldn't get strung out on deadlines, you know. You may find if you had a bit longer that you would write it much more nicely, but I mean, newspapers are all about, you know, doing stories at 100% the right time to sort of 90% of your ability, rather than, you know, doing the absolute perfect story when it's too late.
There'd be nowhere for Linda and I to hide now. We'd be representing the Guardian on a story all by ourselves. There was a new book of paintings by children whose lives had been shattered by the war in former Yugoslavia. I Dream of Peace was being launched by Vanessa Redgrave for the United Nations Children's Fund, and some of the youngsters would be here with the paintings. Media competition would be tough, and news editor Danny John was relying on us to deliver the goods.
So really what we want to get to is the real human interest bit of the story, which is the kids. You've got these paintings, they're giving a display of actually what life is like in Bosnia, but we actually want to hear from them exactly how they feel, how they've reacted to everything that's happened in their country, how they feel actually being here.
Okay. Right? Don't forget, Vanessa Redgrave has written a foreword to this book, so you can ask her about that. But try not to get, remember when you started in the very beginning on the local paper, you did that sort of team group. Try and avoid that, because that's what they're going to try and give you. They're going to say, why don't all these kids line up and all the paintings behind them? I mean, that's very boring. Get good portraits, get them looking straight at you, and get them to, you know, sort of be proud of what they've done, rather than this kind of, there's my picture.
It says here that Ed Dedovic's going to be there. That's the 11-year-old that lost an eye. Right. There's been quite a lot of press coverage on him, so it'd be quite good to get a picture of him, to get a shot of him.
What shall I do? Shall I start the interviewing and then you be taking pictures, or shall I wait and see?
After we've done a little bit of it, then we should get back together and say, what have you got and what have I got? And then we'll both know.
Okay.
Will we get a chance to take the kids off on our own? Yes, to stand by pictures? Absolutely. And they'll be quite happy to do that? Absolutely, no problem.
But it wasn't going to be easy to get the time we needed with Vanessa Redgrave and the children.
Yeah, I mean, she's got to leave by 1:30, so if we can squidge it in before then.
Brilliant, okay.
A bit of squidging.
A little bit of squidging.
This is terrible. The ITN news people have completely taken over.
That's been the same
doing a live, yeah, they're doing a live broadcast
for the
they're nearly
news.
finished.
What am I haven't got to watch? What am I looking for?
So we've got to queue people up now, because Newsround just want a few shots just of the children.
So is there a queue now?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Just waiting there, are you? I'm going to get back up the front.
Push in, my love.
My elbows.
See if I have to tell Linda to push in. See you, good luck, Linda.
At last, Vanessa Redgrave and some of the children lined up for a picture. It was my first chance to get something on film, but a team group was not what I'd been asked to take.
I just want to ask a few questions about England and about your home, yeah? Okay.
I know English the best out of
My goodness! Cool, yeah.
The back row.
Would you like to go back?
I don't mind it. I'm used to it.
Do you like England, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the big difference between home and England, do you think?
My country's the best.
Your country's the best. Of course it is.
It's a good answer, isn't it? I've done lots of pictures outside, but it's not really what Eamon's asked for, so what I'll do is wait until all this lot are finished, then grab a kid and get it to stand by, get him or her to stand by a picture, really.
The children in England can't imagine what it's like. You know, all we see is what's on the news, so we don't really understand what you're going through.
You know, like my school friends, when they asked me about war, and I said them about killing people, and they never believed me. Like, you know, they said, I can't believe that's true. And I said, 13-year-old boy, he got a gun and killing people, you know. They just can't imagine things like that.
Could you go just a little bit behind? Is that okay? Just there. I can still see your three faces. Is that all right?
Yes.
No, it looks like Queen. What are you doing?
Wink.
And I'll be as quick as I possibly can.
Sure, wherever you like.
5 minutes.
Do you want to sit side by side? What? E-E-R, that is, isn't it? Yeah. E-T-I-C.
Yeah.
Thank you. E-T-I-C, and I'll... so I remember which one you are. Put fingers there. Remember what you did with your fingers this morning?
That means peace.
Peace, that's brilliant.
If children who've been through that can still draw a bird of peace, well, then I guess we should say these children are very important. They're going to teach us how to change our world. This should not be allowed to happen. I mean, it's absolutely atrocious.
My heart was still pounding when I got back to the dark room, but for another reason. I'd noticed that my camera was wrongly set, and it was possible that I'd let Eamon down.
Hi. Hiya, hello. I think I might have a little problem here. I'm all right. I've had a nervous breakdown. Well, apparently this camera's been for an overhaul over the weekend, and I think they changed the ASA on it. So halfway through today, I realised that it had been moved from 400, which it normally is on, to 100. Is that a problem?
Well, did you move the film speed while the film was in the camera?
I would have moved it to 400 once I realised.
Had you taken some at 100 ASA?
Yes.
So we've got a film that's some 100 ASA and some at 400 ASA.
Yeah.
You caused us a problem.
The pictures were dark, with large, shadowy figures among the flames. Blood drips from the window, and mutilated bodies lie surrounded by bullets. No, go back. This isn't right. This isn't right. Get it.
These were the longest minutes of my life. The man in charge of the home news pages, Brian McDermott, would use nothing less than a perfect picture.
3 years since what's happened.
So if you just finish off that para there and then bring in Vanessa Redgrave, 2 piles of quotes, you've got about half an hour. All right?
Aha.
There you are.
Have they come out?
You've done all right. You've done all right, yeah. But where's Vanessa Redgrave? Remember I said to you I wanted
I did get some of Vanessa Redgrave.
But I wanted a lot on her. I mean, there's a few here. There's a few here. You know what I mean?
Vanessa?
Yeah, and it's okay, but it's not, you know, it's not what I call a guardian picture.
No.
It's a bit between. Remember I said no pointing?
Yeah. This is Ivana. This is the little girl. That's her picture there.
Right. She looks very self-conscious. We great suspect it's no better than one of your pictures of your kids or something like that. It doesn't mean anything to the general audience. I mean, I think you've got one that's really worked very well, which is that one. You've got little kid's eye, you've got this sort of devilment in this kid, but you've got their paintings as well. And that would look very good in the paper. Be pleased with that.
One picture out of 120.
Yeah, but fortunately that's all you need is one. And I think you got away with it, yeah.
My ASA dramas, I'm just pleased that something's come out.
But I can't get involved in all those.
I've forgotten about
all I'm worried about.
No, I just wanted a picture.
All I'm worried about though is what's on the film.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean I've got to go and show Brian McDermott, who's the hardest man in Fleet Street.
Oh, is
you know what these pictures are like. Now if he doesn't like them, we're in trouble. We've got a hole in that page.
All right.
With less than 15 minutes to go, I was in for something far worse than writer's block. Oh, I make mistakes, some rushing happened. 2. What have I done? 2.5 hours work had just disappeared.
What am I looking for?
We call it for the PQ pics.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. That was exciting, wasn't it, viewers?
Hi, Eamon. Hi, Brian. This is Linda.
Oh, hello,
Brian.
Hello, Brian. Hello. Nice to meet you.
This is our offering for page 6, which
is this the Bosnia exhibition? Well done. That's terrific. Thanks very much.
So what do you reckon?
Lovely.
Yeah?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
You're going to use it?
Oh yeah.
You're going to use it? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, now just need some words to go with it.
We just need to link this paragraph a little bit better.
Right, yeah, it's a bit disjointed, isn't it? Seen through the eyes. What about something, I don't know, I was just going to do something earlier about, you know, that drawings usually like that are the product of an zealous imagination, but of course for these children it's nothing to do with their imagination.
That's good. And now we can just send that through to subs, because I mean we've been working on it. So see how many lines you've got. You've got 51. That's 250 words, which is what we basically need. So.
Is that all? It says. Oh, what do I do?
Hit the send button.
Hit the send. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, she's gone.
gosh, gone.
There were times when we thought this moment would never come. But as the paper was prepared for printing, there was our story, right at the top of page 6.
Linda, that's a very, very good picture. I mean, the thing that makes it good is the kid's expression on the left, and I think it works well as a really nice package together. I think you should be pleased with yourselves.
170 words, tightly written. It's in the paper, and I think it deserves to be there. I just wish you'd have pushed yourself in a little bit more. But that comes, I mean, you know, you get sharp elbows after a while, and next time out she'll do that.
I think it's excellent. She's interviewed people there, she's interviewed the children, she's interviewed Vanessa Redgrave. I wouldn't know that wasn't written by a professional.
There aren't many words, it's not much more than an extended picture caption, but the words are nicely written, they're to the point. There's a good quote here from Vanessa Redgrave, so they've done the story.
I have enjoyed it, but I couldn't do it for a living. It's too stressful.
I'd like to do it. I mean, it's what I like. It's fast and never knowing what's going to happen. And also, Eamon said if I had a bit more experience, he'd take me on. So I don't know, that means when I'm 60 or...
You might not even been talking about photos, Lynn. Yeah, no, it's...